Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. It's time now to review headlines on today's newspapers with the Ombudsman of This Day and Arise Media Group and This Day Newspaper Limited Group Executive Director Kayode Komolafe. Good morning, KK. How are you?
Good morning.
It's good to see you.
Welcome back.
Yes, and thanks for checking up on me.
Okay.
You and Steve, you're great. Great.
Good morning, Steve.
Good
morning, Shay. Great to be here. Yeah.
All right, so we proceed with This Day on Sunday, and we take it from the top, from the window story. Tinubu leads 6 governors, 7 ministers to Onga United Nations General Assembly, which interestingly is also the lead for The Guardian at 78th UN General Assembly in New York, as Tinubu meets Biden. Guardian here says the least expectation on the oncoming Biden-Tinubu meeting is to define the direction that Nigeria's foreign policy will take in the days ahead, and for President Tinubu to ensure a win package for Nigeria. That's the story on the window of these days too. And on the strip below it, DMO, at $20.79 billion multilateral loans account for over 48% of Nigeria's external debt. That's the story on page 5 of today's This Day. And below the masthead, Shoyinka Atiku Obi voluntarily contributed to outcome of 2023 presidential poll on page 6. We had a guest before you came in, KK, who disagreed with Professor Wole Soyinka. We said that the prof...
It was actually good TV because I had a discussion with him before. It's my friend. Before
Okay, yes, that's good. Yes. All right. Below that is Akpabio, alleged plot to remove me, a complete imagination. Senate President loyalist behind removal plot allegation, says Senator Abo. And the lead story itself, Nigerian armed forces stand for democracy. CDS declares, vows to deal decisively with threats to national security. Are we still having threats? Are people still talking military, talking, coup or suggesting anything like that? But that's the CDS saying that the Nigerian armed forces stand solidly for democracy. And last but not the least, Nigerian airlines are operating in difficult environment. NCAA cries out. That will be on page 10 of the paper. And if we look at the cover picture very fast, a brief stopover. First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu and the Nigerian ambassador to Portugal, Mr. Alex Kefas, at the Madeira International Airport when she made a brief stopover on her way to New York for the United Nations General Assembly yesterday. I didn't realize that we retained an ambassador in Portugal. I thought all of them had been recalled.
They've been recalled, but it will still take a period of transition for them to be back. Yeah.
Okay. I think it was October 1st was the deadline they were given.
But the gentleman in London is back home already.
But some need some time to tidy up before coming back. Yeah.
All right, so those are the stories, KK.
Yeah.
We can talk on them.
Yeah, we should take the story of the United Nations General Assembly.
Yes.
I think it's a good thing that while grappling with the domestic problems, the Tinubu administration, is also interested in about the place of Nigeria in the world. That is, this foreign engagement. Was in India. The vice president represented us in South Africa during the BRICS meeting.
Yes.
The president himself was in India and now going to United Nations to and he will actually be addressing the United Nations on the first day, of the conference on the 28th. Now, it's important that we are on the 18th. Now, it is important that the president himself will go there and be addressing the assembly on behalf of Nigeria because the theme, of this year conference is a very relevant one, globally. That's rebuilding trust and igniting global solidarity. That the period, the state of the world today is that, suggests that, globally, countries of the world, should stress more of cooperation, more of solidarity, because the issues, facing mankind, have been facing humanity. They are not issues that you can tackle by just talking about every nation having its own, focusing on its own competitive advantage. But there are issues that can only be resolved if you have a common approach. We think about our common humanity in solving it. Take for instance, climate change.
Yes.
That's not the matter you can solve, by with the spirit of competition, but only by the spirit of cooperation. Similarly, inequality, which is a global plague. There are things also that mankind can focus upon, on the basis of solidarity, on the basis of cooperation. And also, if you talk about pandemics, which given the experience of COVID, that is that there are things that could also be done, collectively. And besides that, like you said, other papers, have this on their front pages. That the president also will be meeting, other world leaders, and also business people, to attract investment, as he says. What I'm trying to say is that it is a good thing that we are also concerned, about the external environment. I guess the other story we should talk about. You are wondering why the CDS is making. The context should be that you have in Africa today you have this epidemics of instability and putting it and not on so that if you still pay attention to the activities of the internet warriors, it's unfortunate that perhaps people who were born after the end of who are born after the end of post-military, may not know the implication when people, because of whatever frustration, whatever disagreement they may have with the political system, openly canvass for coup and the rest. So I think the CDS in this regard, is well spoken. It is important, to always emphasize, that, the subordination, of the military, institution, to the civilian, to the democratic, authority, and that it is the duty, of the armed forces, and other security agencies to support, the development of democracy. So I think the CDS is quite, in order. Yes. Okay. And one other story that I think is also, if those who are political on the business side, is the story on aviation. I think it should be well underlined. That the NCA is saying that the business environment,
is very harsh.
And I think that in planning, for development, in trying to tackle the issues of the economy, the administration needs to pay attention, to the distress that you have in the aviation sector, and that what should be the role, of the state, in assisting, in terms of policy or even direct intervention. Yes. I think the situation in the aviation industry, needs the attention, of all stakeholders, particularly the state. It's very
correct. Well said, Mr. Komolafe. Let's move over now to This Day Style. If you can pull that up, and the cover picture for This Day Style is the Oni of Ife, Oba Enito Ogunwusi, culture custodian. I know you love that. Yes. Oni of Ife. Now the Oni...
Oni Risha. The Arule Odua.
Okay. The Oni Adeyeye Baba Tunde Eniton Akonde Ogunwusi is the 51st Oni of the third dynasty of Ile-Ife. Oni Adeyeye ascended the throne. Adeyeye. There's no asonggraph. Those.
Oji is trying. I think you should give him some compliment.
He is something, but I love it.
Sorry, you should give us.
I love it that he keeps. I know, but just give me some compliments. Go ahead, say Chinedu. Go ahead, say Chinedu. Very well. All right. All right. Well, before his ascension, the Oni was and is a serial businessman with vested interest in mining, construction, hospitality, education, sports, banking, real estate, and cultural development. And he has empowered over 750,000 youth in different vocation and is still empowering. I think this is a beautiful profile of the Oni of Ife. I have always admired the Oni, but I believe that there was a question that Funke Babs Kufeji posed here, and it was, she said, since you ascended the throne, you have married many wives, typical for a king, but recently you have married at least 7 wives in a short period. Why? And is there a significance behind it? You know, I mean, I will be very interested in this story, but he says that the institution is so huge and no single woman can successfully handle the throne's domestic and other core affairs. Man, royalty in Nigeria is absolutely different from a lot of other places, and correct. I love it. Yes.
But royalty, an African man.
Yes.
Very correct.
I know, yes, man.
No, it's very correct.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the culture, as well. But I would like to also tie in this story, Mr. Komolafe, with the story above the masthead on the Sunday Vanguard, which says Obasanjo under fire for issuing order to Obas. I believe these Obas were in Oyo State. Is that correct?
Yes. 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 Oyo State.
Oyo State. Yes. Can you, share with our viewers this story, particularly on Obasanjo?
Yeah, the story was what is it called? A crisis of protocol.
Yes.
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo, was rebuking the royals, the royal fathers, for not standing up, as a matter of courtesy, when in presence of the governor. And his own rule of thumb is that in any occasion where you have the president and the governor, yes, the royal fathers were bound,
to acknowledge that.
I think basically Obasanjo is wrong, and what he did is a total disrespect for the culture and the heritage of people. And in any case, what we are talking about, the question we are talking about is ceremonial occasion. You are talking about protocols. If you are talking about protocols, I think those people who have a greater claim, to it. The aristocracy, the royal father, because like somebody, put on give an example, can you imagine, a British, politician, saying that because the prime minister or even the president of another country comes that the king of England should.
But I guess it has to do with the constitution in this space. The president, ex-president, and the governor have more powers than the Obas. And you know that the Obas were asking, or traditional rulers have been asking for a constitutional role for a while. And I think that's where it needs to change.
No, it's not a like I said, no, we should not. It's not a constitutional matter. It's just a question of.
But he's saying that where Obas, where there is a president or a governor, the Obas are supposed to respect those. He still thinks he's the president. And that's what he's doing. He's basically quoting the constitution, isn't it?
The Council of Obas have responded and they've demanded an apology.
Yes.
Because what would have happened if one or two or the entire monarchs there refused to obey him? What will he have done? I think he should tread carefully. Ex-president,
thank you,
tread carefully.
Absolutely.
This messianic,
larger than
unnecessary.
Take the Sunday Tribune.
I think it was wrong.
Definitely. We have just 2 minutes to go. Let's take quickly the Sunday Tribune. Lagos flood of tears. We're talking about this today. Okada rider swept into canal. Over 200 people have been displaced. Commuters stranded at mile 2. Government shells planned traffic diversion on 3rd Mainland Bridge. Under there we have the story. IGP wades into Mohbad's death. Orders thorough investigation. I spoke about this very briefly. This particular story has been trending all week. A push for the IGP, of course, the police to look into this particular matter of Mohbad's passing.
Do you want to pick that quickly with the wheel? Do we have it?
All right, then. And the wheel, before we go, cracks in the wall. Labour divided over planned indefinite strike. How TUC backed out of warning strike. Uncertainty over next action. Federal government no longer negotiating with NLC as Lalong pleads for more time. 30 seconds to comment on this before we go, Mr. K.
No, I'll rather the 30 seconds.
I don't know how you can
Pick the one you like.
Okay, just clearly like one like the death of Mohbad, should be investigated. It's a matter of
Which one?
Mohbad.
The Mohbad.
Yeah.
Mohbad,
It's
yes.
really
I mean,
terrible.
it should be
I'm
taken.
glad that you picked that.
Yes,
because
it should be investigated.
Yes.
And the public, not just only the family,
Yes.
deserves justice. Even the public deserves that the truth of what actually happened.
Yeah.
Should be told. The crime has been committed.
Yes.
Whoever is responsible,
Yeah.
should be taken through the process of the law.
we had an extensive discussion on it yesterday with the
you
change.
did?
So
Okay.
Absolutely, and this is gladdening that the police is saying that if it is necessary, they will exhume
the body.
The body.
Which is
That
the correct
whatever
thing to do.
whatever needs to be
it
done,
takes.
whatever needs to be
it
done,
takes,
whatever needs to
you
be
know.
done should be done.
Because that will
so
send a
that
message
yeah.
to those who are being who think that they are palace jesters, masquerading as show promoters or label owner, thinking that they are bigger than the law.
Yeah.
It's a message to them.
The law is bigger than
the law is bigger than
any other person.
anybody.
I think justice
And
should
we
be
must
done.
see an end
Justice
to
should
it,
be
not
done,
just the investigation. We must see results. Because
Absolutely.
like I said,
Exactly.
on
Absolutely.
what's trending,
Yeah.
all these cases
Because
have been coming
Nigeria
out.
will not stop talking
Yes.
about this.
About
Yes.
it. Well,
All right.
his,
Thank you, KK.
soul rest in peace, Mohbad. We feel for the
Great
entire
guy,
family.
great guy.
Yes.
Imole,
I-
he was known as,
Yes.
and we hope that this investigation will shed illumination
Yes.
into what led to his death.
Very well,
Great
sir.
place to
Mr.
end it.
Komalafe, would like to thank you very much
you
for
very much.
joining
Thank
us
you,
on
KK.
Thank you
our
very
Sunday Funny program. Hope to see you next week.
Next week.
All right then.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
All right.